Many of you might have heard about the very saddening news that at Ammon Hillman's, the famous, Greek scholar, right? Quote unquote. But he went on a band tour, okay? And on this band tour, there was all kinds of questionable things going on. One of them being that one of his members of the group, let's say, that one of the Ammonites that we have all kinds of good reason, good evidence, pictures with Ammon that lots of people knew him clearly. Whether he was like the most famous person in the group, who knows? But this person assaulted another of the group, allegedly, according to Ammon. So we don't know the full details about this person or the truth behind it or whatever. All we have is Ammon's details. But big thing is that there seems to be good reason to think that this actually might sadly be true. We don't have proof of it, but it seems like that could be the case. And Ammon makes this big video about, there's this person, he's so terrible and he's the worst, and all these other insults about him, and YouTube eventually takes it down, so you can't even see that video right now. But thankfully I got access to the video, and there's so much in that's worth talking about that we'll have to make other videos on. One of those is that somebody made a song about Gnostic Informant Neil, and basically anybody that goes against the Ammonite group, the enemies of the group, basically like a go away, we don't like you, we don't want you here, almost like an insult. And there was so many odd phrases in here that are worth discussing from a cult dynamic perspective. You might think it's just like a simple song, like it's just basic, but there's a lot more going on under the surface. And if you're wondering about the explanation for this title, we're going to get into it, the title of this video. But at the end, we will see that the maker of this, which is one of the top Ammonites in the group, he thinks that Ammon is, I guess, so great or amazing because songs are made about him. We'll discuss that in a second here. So here is the song. And by the way, this is in the context of talking about this person that SA'd this other member of the group. So like this is just like some big hate thing, and somehow Ammon decides that it's a good idea to just say, oh yeah, Neil is the enemy too. He has a role to play in this, when obviously Neil has nothing to do with this. If anything, Neil is going out of his way to prevent harm from happening. But I don't know. It's hard to take this video seriously, as far as like there's no real logic behind it. But yeah, there's a lot going on here, so we're gonna talk about it.
Now when your name butterfly, fly away, butterfly. Such an idiot, why? Fly away, butterfly. The insurrectionist, butterfly. Fly away, butterfly. Watch how we whine and cry. Fly away, butterfly. The insurrectionist. We are the original nutter. Gnostic Informant is a flying piece of butter, yo. We are go fling him for the gutter. For all of the lies and false claims where him matter, bro. Bori-Sattva nutter. Gnostic Informant is a flying piece of butter, yo. We are go kick him into the gutter. For all of the lies and false claims, bro. Fly away, butterfly. Such an idiot guy. Fly away, butterfly. The insurrectionist, butterfly. Fly away, butterfly. Watch how we whine and cry.
Out in the street, they call it murder. this same David Hopper,
David Hopper's the guy that assaulted the other person.
who raped somebody in
Allegedly.
my name, claiming it was my authority, my will for this to happen. That same son of a bitch who used me, used my daughter. Do you understand? He contacted my daughter. People, these sons of bitches must be stopped.
All right, so he's commenting on, like, it does, you know, there's a message going on here. It's just like, hey, so anybody that is against the group, who's an insurrectionist, is needs to be stopped. And there's a message going on. We'll get into the specific lyrics in a second here, but there's a brief little more commentary, and then he keeps playing the rest of the song here.
I would a fly swatter.
Give it the good part there.
Fault is coming from these people. Yo,
This was for Ammon and his daughter. Swatter, butterfly, with a fly swatter. I order them to the main ass for the slaughter and turn the stained soul into demon water. Yo, this is fired forever like Quique cursed him. Leave him thirsting and aneurysm bursting. Now he's feeling for that Theriac elixir, but he's a fucking Jan Sixer. Now on your name, butterfly. Fly away, butterfly. Such an idiot, why? Fly away, butterfly. The insurrectionist. Fly away, butterfly. Watch how we whine and cry. Fly away, butterfly. Children of earth and sky sing. Fly away, butterfly. Such an idiot guy. Fly away, butterfly. The insurrectionist butterfly. Fly away, butterfly. Watch how my wine and cry. Fly away, butterfly. The insurrectionist butterfly. On a butterfly head. Now we're right now we have a march.
All right, and of course, if you're new to the channel, Madalena is another person, and I'll just be frank with you, the Ammonite cult. Then you have LH, who's not really in the cult at all. I'm not really sure why this has anything to do with anything. And then I don't actually know who Josh is. I imagine he's part of the cult as well, but who knows? This is not the 100% accurate. Oh gosh, this is a. Let me see if I can fit this to my screen. Okay, this is not the most accurate lyrics, just because YouTube has weird systems. It doesn't always understand the words, but this is a good amount of them. So Marcel says LH is 100% the cult. See, the thing is, though, that LH got kicked out, or he left on purpose, which I don't know exactly. But that was recent. He got kicked out recently because he was talking about the new movie. What was it? Odysseus? I can't even remember what it was. But yeah. So yeah. So. Oh, okay. That sucks. Woke up to a death threat this morning. I imagine that was from the Ammonite group. Correct me if I'm wrong there. That's what you're implying. Yeah, another comment. So he uses a Damian Marley song and didn't catch copyright infringement. Well, the song, Ammon's YouTube channel isn't getting any monetization anyway, so maybe he did actually get copyright infringement, but I guess I won't be making any money off this video anyways. Not that I'm monetized. Even if I was, I wouldn't be able to. Oh well. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this even it's not the perfect wording, but fly away, and then insurrectionist butterfly. So obviously talking about Neil, obviously talking about the David person, any other haters that severely don't like the group. So okay, so not even 100% sure. Either way, that's not a good situation. Okay, so why is this worth talking about? Someone might think this is just like a random throwaway song. It's like, okay, kind of weird, kind of odd, but what's the point of talking about this? So because this tells us so much about what the group means to the person who made this. It has a huge effect on the audience. So I don't know if you were watching that in the, what is it, 240p or whatever this video is in. You can see in the bottom right that that's not even the bottom right. You can see in the bottom right that there's all kinds of comments about, oh yeah, this is great, this is amazing, yeah, get Neil out of here, he's terrible, and all this other stuff. But so obviously it had an impact for the group. Was it because like it was just an amazing song? Like, of course, it wasn't his. What is that soundtrack? I don't know anything about music. Whatever the sound in the background. And it's not even like it was an amazing music video either. It's clearly in his kitchen. For being in his kitchen is actually pretty good. I mean, how many good music videos can you make in a kitchen? But and then one scene is like in some storage. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Yeah, it's like literally in a storage room or something like that, or right outside the storage room. Yeah, so it's not like this is like some amazing thing that is like some great work of art or anything like that. Yeah, so like it's like it rhymes, it sounds good, but that's obviously not why people are getting all excited about this. This is not going to win any awards. People get excited about this because of the message that it's conveying, and also the impact it's having on people. And people don't even realize that the negative impact as well, which is the main reason that I'm talking about this, because there is like the interesting cult dynamic side of things where it's like, okay, that's really interesting to talk about. Talking about other cults and stuff like that and why people do what they do is really interesting to me. But then the other hand, where it's like, okay, well, we don't want, if we are trying to be, good listeners, helpful people of the world, educating ourselves, we don't want to watch this and like be negatively impacted somehow. But the thing is that this is exactly what it's doing because of the cult dynamics with this. So I'm gonna put it back on the screen, and hopefully I can do it right. Like the buttons all the time. So there we go. All right. So so obviously insurrectionist. What is important about this? Like some people might say, okay, this is just like kind of like insulting somebody, or I don't even know what insurrectionist, like what that would be in a dictionary definition. Obviously, it's bad. What is like this is just whatever comes off Google. Oh, okay. Insurrectionist is a violent uprising against an authority or government. So yeah, I don't really see how that applies to Neil necessarily, or even the person that David. But obviously, this is trying to like, if even from the start of it, it's not even conveying accurate information. That apparently Neil did something with January 6th, which I don't know the full details. I'm happy to say if it's a problem, it's a problem. I don't know the full details. I haven't looked into it as much as I needed to. Talked about channel, but so you say call him an insurrectionist, okay, but like that doesn't really have anything to do with his channel, what he's communicating, why they dislike him. Nobody dislikes him because he showed up on January 6th, allegedly. Let me just think of some look at some other definitions here. Computer's being slow for some reason. Insurrectionist. Yeah, like these are actually pretty harsh. I didn't even think about it this way. I mean, you could use this word different ways, of course, but it's yeah. So it's just a favor of a participant in insurrection. Okay. So I don't know if he's applying that to the group somehow. He's an insurrectionist for the group, or is it mainly just an insult for January 6th? Who knows? But why does this has anything to do with what happened with this David guy and the assault that happened there? Neil hadn't played no part in it. So what are we really talking about here? Why does this matter, even if he is an insurrectionist? So like just from the start of it, there's problems with this framing. But what this does when you get these kind of language, these words, um, someone says Neil did nothing with January 6th, as far as I know. Yeah, so I mean, he might not have. It doesn't really matter for this. I mean, even if he did do it, like, you should make a song about it. Like, what are we talking? What is the purpose here? What is the benefit? Of course, yeah, Neil has been critical of Trump, but yeah. So, anyways, not that I'm saying Fenris, like, certainly an important question to ask. Was Neil part of January 6th and all that? I don't know, but it doesn't really have any relevance to what's going on with the Ammonite cult, right? So, anyways, so yeah, so what this does, though, from this dynamic of this person Bori, who's actually a pretty high member of the cult, he's in charge of the Discord. He's got lots of pictures with Ammon and all those other guys. Everybody loves him, whatever. So what this communicates is that it communicates some type of emotional enemy type of dynamic, like a threat. Like, hey, there's a threat. And psychologically speaking, what that means is that our bodies, we're primed for threats, okay? If you see a bush with ruffling and you're like in a forest and you see a bush moving around, you're like, oh shoot. Naturally, unless if you're like real used to the forest and stuff like that, your body's gonna automatically think, oh shoot, that could be danger. It could be a lion, could be a bear. And then what happens is we have different kinds of responses to that. We have fight, flight, freeze, sometimes even fawn. And so we'll either attack the bear, we will go and attack the bush, even though we don't even know if it's a bear or not. We don't know what's in the bush, but it's scary. So like our brain goes on essentially autopilot. This has to do with the amygdala, and you guys can look into the neuroscience in it. On a side note there, I talk about it in my book. I don't know if you guys know I'm writing a book, Testing the Teachers, the Hidden Psychology of Christian Authority. So I talk about the book if people want to check that out. And it's not out yet, but it'll be out in the next month or so. But anyway, so what it does psychologically speaking, is it gets our brain into fear mode, into fight or flight, instead of worrying about, is this correct? Is there actually a bear in the forest, in the bushes? What do we do with that? What evidence do we have for this? Like, nobody's thinking about that. It's either we go fight the bush or we run. That's pretty much what most people do in that situation. It's the same thing for this. So this person Bori is obviously part of the group, and if you're an Ammonite listening to this, you see, okay, Bori is saying, hey, this is insurrectionist. Ammon has already implied that, whatever this person is a bad thing, is a threat. Talks about Neil and David and the rest of the video, saying all these bad things. And what this communicates is, it communicates, so I am endangered. The group is in danger. The group is being attacked. Maybe not in danger like of being like, destroyed or anything like that. Nobody's thinking that. But what they are thinking about is, so this is a threat. We got to get rid of this threat. It makes me uncomfortable. And that skips all of the important questions about this. So is this person actually wrong? Is this insurrectionist Neil person actually wrong? Did they really do anything harmful? Is the person making the song, are they exaggerating? Do we actually have any evidence for what this is? And no, not really at all. There's like, is Neil a threat to the group? Like maybe like taking people away, but at the end of the day, the group is going to be there. Like there's not, Neil has no charge of like some SWAT team on the internet or something like that, right? But what it also does is it creates an enemy so that they can justify their existence. This is extremely common in cult dynamics because nothing bonds a group faster than shared hatred of an external threat. When we are in a group setting, like maybe a church, or we are fans of a band, or we have some type of group identity with any certain set of people. It could even be, if you have the same shirt color. They've done studies that people that have the same shirt color compared to other people are going to be more defensive of the people with their similar shirt. They're going to be nicer to them and are more likely to be negative to the other people. Isn't that crazy, right? Just for having a similar shirt color. Same thing here, but even on an escalated level, because we're talking about cult dynamics here. And something super stereotypical with almost all cults is an idea of an enemy to justify what they're doing, justify what their purpose is. Trigger these when you like define an enemy like this, which is Ammon does almost every video. He's always attacking random people that almost have nothing to do with anything of what they're doing. So this triggers people's emotions in an already intense environment. They're talking about somebody in their group that they identified with attacked somebody or allegedly attacked somebody, one of their friends. That's really scary. Actually, there were people that were very scared about that. Naturally, of course they should be, because okay, so what happens if I go out to see Ammon in a group? What if I go to one of his band shows? Like, is that going to happen to me? That's really scary, and that's part of the reason why Ammon's doing is this. He's trying to distract from actually what's going on and the scare nature about it. What he should be doing, of course, is talking about how to be safe, how to make good decisions, not just completely trust people for no reason, random people on the internet. I don't know why he wouldn't do that. It seems kind of common sense. But for whatever reason, he's not doing that. And but anyway, so this is a very sensitive topic for all these Ammonite groups. Everybody in their group might even feel a little threatened. But when a cult member or a cult leader, basically, this is, by the way, this is the person that made the video. This person right here, we'll talk about that in a second. But Ammon is basically saying, hey, this song speaks for me. Whatever's in this song, I agree with, essentially. What he's communicating by playing this. And what this is communicating is like, hey, Ammon thinks, or even a high member of the cult thinks that this insurrectionist is a threat. But it doesn't even just communicate, hey, we disagree with them. It communicates this is a threat to our survival. In this situation, unity is built on hatred rather than trust. The unity for this group it's built on hatred rather than trust. So if you are like on the middle ground, this has a higher chance of getting you to the edge of being on Ammon's fan side, because of these emotional things that tug and pull at people. Additionally, it gives people an idea of moral superiority. So if outsiders are insurrectionists, the cult becomes the righteous defender. So anybody in this comment section who's watching and there's a high chance that they're thinking, oh shoot, this is this helps, like, this is really important for our cause. We have to get rid of these people. These people are, like, we have Ammon who's doing all these great things, and then these people are just tearing things up. We have to get rid of them. So anything that you do to try and stop them is seen as righteous. It's seen as a good thing, that you're defending the group. Of course, that has nothing to do with whether that it's actually righteous or that's actually defending anything worth meaningful. But that skips that, and so that's why something like this, and what Ammon talks about, the language he uses, is why you get all these comment sections that of mine and Neil's that are just full of Ammonites just saying the wildest things that have nothing to do with the video, just to spam and attack, and then they'll, of course, they'll report the video. Yeah, so it's like someone like Neil, who is trying his best, maybe not doing the best job. Everybody can improve, but he's trying his best to expose the unsafety nature of this group. I shouldn't say this group, but the many people in the group, and that's why you get all kinds of people that are going against that. Why would you go against that? It doesn't make any sense apart from this kind of cult dynamic. There's fear induction, so followers are told that enemies are dangerous, violent, corrupt. This keeps members dependent on the leader for protection and gets them to see everything they do as bad. So let me repeat that. Followers are told that enemies are dangerous. Okay, we already went over that. Violent, even corrupt. This keeps members dependent on the leader for protection and gets them to see them as bad. Violent imagery. So this is really interesting. So on this, I don't know if the specific words are even on here. Yeah, here's one. The kind of like the bottom left here. It says, "Yo, for Ammon and his daughter, got a butterfly with a fly swatter." So, and he shows. So who's the butterfly? Obviously, that's Neil and whoever else is in this group of bad people that he calls bad, and he's gonna slap him with a fly swatter. Like, that's pretty violent imagery, actually, but it's also in playful language. So it's like someone that's part of this group is like, oh, well, it's just playful language. It's just nice language. I'm surprised that Neil would actually be pictured as a butterfly. Maybe that's just some type of callback to, he looks harmless or something like that. I don't know. But either way, it's violent imagery, but with playful language. So you could see how people could make excuses like, oh, he didn't actually mean, be violent. But that's like on a cognitive level as well. Like, but when we're in this attitude of like feeling that there's a threat, we're not thinking like, oh, is he actually a threat? Is he actually a butterfly, or is he joking or whatever? Like, most people listening to this are not thinking to themselves, oh, so is this accurate? Is it right to be violent? What are the moral implications of that? Nobody's thinking about that. He also says, and I don't even know if these are the exact words. It's a little unclear the way it was phrased in the video, but something like, feed them to the main ass for the slaughter. He says, I ought to feed them to the main ass for the slaughter. That's to the left. And then he says, and turn the same soul into demon father. I imagine that's probably fodder, like Fodder. But what this does for the people is this normalizes aggression. So this, like, when you just phrase things, you use this type of language, this normalizes, oh, it's okay to be dangerous and attack these types of people. But harming people and attacking people is never okay, no matter how bad they are. Just because somebody robs a bank or does something to your family does not justify harming them. That is not your call to make. So, and not only that, but it's not going to help Neil. Like, do you think Neil's going to respond well to this? Obviously, he hasn't, judging by his response videos. So, additionally, what else is there? So this creates emotional confusion. So it mixes childlike imagery, the idea of a butterfly with threats on the slider. So just like on a subconscious level, if you're familiar with Daniel Kahneman, you're talking about system 1, system 2 thinking. On a system 1 level, like that's confusing. It's like, oh, there's a butterfly, but it's like also a threat. So this can cause confusion on like a cognitive level. And what that means is like it's harder to think things through where you're like confused, like what it's actually saying when you like it's not readily obvious. You're having to think more about it. And this means that you're going to be less likely to think about other important factors like we're talking about. Additionally, if enemies are demon fodder, harming them becomes righteous. This is how cults justify harassment, spirit campaigns, threats, social isolation, retaliation. This is, of course, loyalty signaling to the group, to the leader. He's saying this is for Ammon and his daughter. So he's like, hey, yeah, so this is my submission to the great leader. But it also communicates, hey, I'm part of the group. I've got your back. And that's not inherently bad. But if there's no rational justification for that, then that could be a problem. There's other things worth talking about. But when the leader defines enemies, he becomes the protector, the interpreter of danger. This creates dependency. Members are relying on him. So on one hand, this is the person Bori talking, but also Ammon, Bori talking for Ammon, and the way that it's framed. So what this means is people interpret this as like, and not even on a cognitive level, like with our think part of our brains. This is something that just goes on under the hood that people don't even realize. All kinds of studies about this, that Ammon in this situation becomes the protector, the interpreter of danger. So, hey, so if we're ever confused, if we're ever scared, we go to Ammon. What do we make in this situation? And this creates dependency and a lack of critical thinking to question what Ammon's saying, because you're going to him to hear what he's saying, to listen to what he's saying. You're not going to him to critique anything of what he's saying. At least on a cognitive level. There might be some people that are a little bit more self-critical, but for the most part, in this group, with these types of dynamics involved, there really isn't a lot of criticism, and criticism, of course, is just like the most terrible thing in the world to this group. Additionally, so it prevents members from leaving. So this one is super, 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 super important. So Neil was technically part of the group. He didn't accept everything they said, but he was a big help to Ammon. He promoted his views, and Neil was in the Discord and all that. But Neil left, and therefore was seen as the enemy. This is huge, because this paints the picture of, hey, anybody that leaves our group, you are now the enemy. You become dangerous. You betray our leader. You betray our group. You're losing this moral purity that we have. This is huge, because not only does this attack Neil, but this attacks every single person in this group. If you're in this group, if you're an Ammonite watching, this is an attack on you indirectly, because if you ever, even for a split second, question Ammon, even question anybody in the group, as this has been shown 100 billion times, then you will be seen as the enemy. You will get kicked out of the group. As I said before, LH got kicked out, or mostly kicked out, or whatever. Why do you get kicked out? Did it have anything to do with criticizing Ammon? No, it had to do with a debate that they were having in the Discord. A debate they were having about a movie, about nothing. Like, what would be an appropriate way to respond to that? Be like, hey, we really need to, maybe give a warning. Like, hey, so you need to stop being harsh. We don't want this in the group. You want to treat people with respect. Say, hey, we're gonna kick you out of the group for a little bit, give you some time off, and then you can come back. We just want to protect people in our group and treat people as they should be treated. That would be maybe the appropriate way to respond. But no, like people in Ammon's group, they get kicked out just for even the slightest bit of hesitancy. So some of you've heard like a billion times before. So the person Ashley. So she communicated to a bunch of people, hey, this person in archery is really dangerous. They did something really bad to kids, and that's something that we should pay attention to. And what happens? So, I'm not going to say that Ashley's like the most perfect person or the best person in the world. Confrontation, but at the end of the day, they essentially kicked her out because she was saying that, hey, there's a good chance of harm being done in this group, and people didn't like that. People felt unsafe. One person even said to Bori, we have messages of this that maybe we'll talk about in a different video. One people said that it made them feel icky. It made them feel icky to talk about the group not being safe. Yeah, of course, it should make you feel icky, right? It should make you feel icky. But the appropriate response is to do things to help the group keep safe, not to throw out the person that is, so Ammon calls this the new security person, which is like so odd how quickly they turned on her. And I don't want to get into all that debate or whatever about what she specifically did or not, but at the end of the day, she helped the group by pointing out something really important. Whether or not you agree with her views on supposedly whatever she said about something being a Nazi, whatever, that doesn't justify her being kicked out of the group. About her, or even if she's mean, it doesn't justify kicking her out of the group. There's other ways you can handle that, especially if a huge goal, the biggest goal of almost all of this, is to keep people safe. And if she's the only one doing that, that is someone you need in your group. Yeah, but guess what? This kind of language, as we're talking about here, this destroys that. This makes it not safe to question the group. It makes it not safe to even question just some of the safety, or to, like, there's so many people that have been kicked out because of just like really basic things that, like, why do you need to have agree with Ammon on every single thing? Neil himself said that he was kicked out right after he coincidentally told Ammon that he didn't agree with him on the Hebrew Greek debate. Like, talk about a meaningless, pointless thing. But Ammon, that was enough for Ammon to just say, no, we hate you. And then what is the outcome of this? You get these songs about Neil, like, for what? What did Neil do to deserve this? Is the chance he's going to be physically harmed? What do to deserve this? Nothing, of course not. Okay, so this. So this is something that you could say before, or like we're gonna watch Maury's comments on the importance of song making. All right, and apparently Neil and Mythvision, Derek, are not good enough. That's what he implied, at least, or that are doing nothing helpful because they don't give people purpose and don't have people make songs for them. We'll talk about that in a second. But before we even talk about that video, just from a song like this in general, why would someone make a song like this? So one reason someone make a song like this is because it gives them status. It gives them belonging. It gives them purpose. It gives them proximity to a leader inside the cult. So as you saw in the comment section, people loved the communication, the message of this. They loved the devotion to, quote unquote, the cause. Of course, it made them feel good and all that too. So a song like this greatly it gets you on notice, gives you attention. It gives you a, hey, this person is part of my group, and for him to do this, he obviously has to be safe and someone that I want to listen to and give attention. But the thing is that this is not an artistic expression. So you might think like, okay, so it's obviously there's art involved, but like this isn't making art for the sake of making art. This is more specifically like a loyalty ritual, a loyalty claim about what this is, what this person is to the group. And as I said before, he in the song it says yo for Ammon and his daughter. So this song is for like to protect them, to promote their cause, to support them. He's proving his devotion. This is what some people would call to the group. I don't know why. I think I cut out there somehow. But this is costly signaling to the group. He went out of his way to do this, and what is the reward? What it communicates to the group. And this is something lots of psychologists have talked about in the past. How people will do things that harm themselves, do things that cause effort, time, to try to communicate to the group, hey, I'm one of you. Because of the benefit they get out of it. There's additionally, creating art for the groups makes the member feel fused with the cult's identity. Like they are contributing to the movement, which of course is kind of like odd, right? And in a way, he definitely is contributing to the movement, but isn't in a good way. Is he actually furthering the good parts of this group? Of course, in his eyes, he thinks he is, but really all he's doing with this song is just saying, hey, we don't like you here, Neil, go away. And I think that we should attack you, is essentially what he's communicating. And it also gives the idea that this has like cosmic or mythical meaning. There's something about songs that give people some type of special feeling, like a religious feeling. People will say that when they go to band concerts, or it's the same feeling that you get going to like a church service, like a worship service. It gives you some kind of cosmic meaning. And the psychological payoff here is I matter here. Making a song like this means I matter. And of course, like everybody wants to matter. But this is, of course, the really big problem with the cult is that, hey, does being in this cult actually mean you matter any more than you did before? And what are you willing to ignore as far as harm to get this feeling of psychological reward of feeling like you matter? Of course, he hopes to be praised, noticed by people in the group. Amen. And there's all kinds of people saying, wow, this is awesome for you to make such a cool video about our leader. Enemy construction. So he's saying, I'm helping fight the enemy. I'm defending the group. The song gives the member a way to vent anger, to fight back against their enemy who they feel is harming their group. So it's very obvious if you watch this guy's videos that he has huge emotional repugnance. Is that the word I'm looking for? Like, he is disgusted. He is hated by the group. Actually, we can... I'll have to... Okay, so I actually made a comment on this guy's video. One comment, the first thing I said was, hey, thank you for doing this. Thank you for talking about this. And the second one was asking about what Ammon's experience was in doing bands. Genuine question, but him and everybody else took that as an attack and be like, how dare you, you evil enemy of this group. How dare you to come in here? So we'll respond to that in a different video. But yeah, so obviously he has emotional dislike towards me. as well as Neil, whoever else. And this is a way for him to vent his anger, to fight back against their enemy, who they feel is harming the group. And by the way, just a short tangent. Why are we doing all this? Because one, from a psychological perspective, it's interesting. But two, because I really, really, really care about you. If you're watching this, whether you're not part of Ammon's group, whether you are not part of Ammon's group and you're just looking to learn, whether you might even go different, you might go to a different group in the future. And by the way, my video is being weird, so guys, let me know if the video that cuts out or whatever. So yes, so I lost track of my thoughts there. So I care about you watching this, even though you might see me as the enemy. If you're not an Ammonite, if you don't like him, you might go to a different group and get this sense of belonging and sense of fulfillment. And that's awesome if you do that. But you have to make sure that you're doing that safely and that you're not sacrificing yourself in a negative way to get these things. It's really important for us to realize how these things work so that when we're in the situation, even though our brain, when our amygdala is firing, the thinking part of our brain isn't working as much, to put it colloquially, if our thinking part of our brain isn't working as much, it's very, very hard to see how these effects, even a simple little song can affect you at the same time, is really important for you to at least know how these work so that you can look out for it. You might not catch everything, but it's the very first step. You can't know what's happening unless you know that this is an actual thing that happens, to know what the signs are. And if you are part of the group, awesome. I'm glad that it gives you fulfillment and purpose. That's great, okay? But once again, make sure you do that safely. Make sure that you're not harming other people while doing it. If you want to further that cause, that's awesome if it gives you fulfillment and purpose, and if you are helping people, because this group, and the real truth things, it is helping people, giving people a sense of purpose, happiness, fulfillment. But it comes with a catch, and you want to make sure that catch is not hurting you and other people, especially Neil. Why? Because he's the one who's being communicated, hey, it's okay to harm Neil. And that's not right. That's not morally, ethically, just from any perspective, it's not good. I mean, as if it wasn't very obvious, like Ammon was essentially defaming Neil in this video, basically associating him with some type of person that did assault. Like Neil obviously had nothing to do with this. So you want to make sure that you are thinking about this critically, not just going with the flow that whatever else is thinking. Okay, additionally, so not only does it give you a way to vent your anger, not only does it give you a sense of purpose, making a song like this, not only does it, all those other things we've talked about. There's another aspect where him simply making the song of just repeating these words, it creates something like a trance-like rhythm, which is common for like songs in general. But this repetition, just being repeated, like there's the stereotypical like photos or like videos of people like the Scientology does this, where they have you repeat like a billion, like one phrase just like a billion times, and it's like it's just typical brainwashing. But this reduces critical thinking, makes people feel spiritually connected when you like have a song like this. So it makes him feel spiritually connected. This is the equivalent of doing like chanting in a religious ritual. So it's not about meaning or if any of this is justified. This whole thing that is not furthering any real benefit for the world. And it's not even based on reality either. Like, Neil's not an insurrectionist, clearly. Like, and it's like so far off topic from the actual video, what the topic was, what they should be talking about. But they, and they're not even giving any arguments for why they're saying it. So like, there's no real reason for you to just like blindly trust what he's saying, that, oh, he's an insurrectionist, or, oh, he deserves all this stuff. But people in the chat, they don't even question that. because this isn't about getting arguments. This is about feeling and how the group feels. So this is where we get to this is where we get to really, really, really interesting comments by this Bori guy, which hilarious, to be honest. I was like, what am I watching? But on the other hand, it says a lot, and it's worth talking about. So let's see here if I got this right.
It really made me feel good to see him living the dream. Somebody made an entire album.
Okay, so Ammon, as you might have already known from this channel, so he went on band, and the logistics of why he would want to go on band, like it seems pretty obvious that he enjoys the attention. Most people do. Apparently, according to Bori, he fulfilled one of his dreams, but and some people would say, okay, well, he wants to further the message. Whether he wants to actually further the message, whether he actually believes it is a different question, or is it maybe that he wants the money from the thing? There's good reason to think that he made lots of money off of this. So yes, so let's actually talk about the comments here about what Bori's saying here.
Based off of the things that he's teaching us. Nobody's doing that for Gnostic Informant, right? Nobody's doing that for any of these Brazilians, right? Who's making a Mythvision soundtrack? Nobody's doing that for any of those people. Their audience is disinspired. They don't give their audience anything to consume that drives them to take action, right? It's just epic flim-flammery. It really does baffle me, like that they have such a large following, both of those guys, but they're not giving their audience anything of substance, and they're not giving their audience anything to inspire them to take action and to create art, right? And to do something meaningful in this world, to bring beauty into this world. Right? That's what Ammon is doing. He's inspiring people across the globe. The whole world is creating art that he's inspired. That's what gets these people. That's what gets these Brazilians. They don't have that riz to jumpstart a movement and to inspire people to take action and to bring forth beauty into this world. So take that. Watch Ammon do his thing.
All right. So interesting comments there. So he says nobody's doing that for Gnostic Informant YouTube channel. So nobody is making a whole song album about Gnostic Informant and Mythvision. So that's like, in some ways, this is like baffling why somebody would say this. It's like, I mean, on just like a really short level, like this is the equivalent. Oh, sorry, I don't know what my thing was doing. So this is the equivalent of going up to a bus driver, a school kid's bus driver, and saying, you know, somebody that their job is safety, support children, get them to school, you know, obviously a good thing. This is like going up to them and saying, hey, nobody's making songs about you. Nobody's making songs about what you're saying or how good you're being as a bus driver. You're not inspiring anybody. There's no devotion. All this is just there's no fan art, or you don't have any purpose. You're not giving anybody purpose because you're not doing bus driving correctly. It's like so like obviously this is some kind of negative on Neil and Mythvision. But like even at just the face value, it's ridiculous, right? Nobody would ever say that to them. So there's the question of what's going on here. But I mean, if you followed Neil or Derek for a while, and by the way, I haven't always been friends with them. I'm not the best friends with them. I wouldn't say that they're perfect either. They have their own troubled past, and I'm happy to talk about negative things that they've done on the channel that I know about. I'm happy if they make a mistake to call them out on it. At the same time, they're Neil and Derek are not trying to create purpose for anybody, right? There might be an aspect, hypothetically, they're trying to make a living or make some money, but there's nothing inherently wrong about that. It doesn't mean that the message they convey is supposedly tainted because of that. It's okay to make money for what you do, even if it doesn't supposedly give people purpose or something like that. But if you've watched any of their channels for more than 5 minutes, which it's highly unlikely that this person has, is that what their goal is to inform people. They're not trying to create worship music. Neil has shown how, apart from all these comments about the cult, which is why he really dislikes them. I mean, other than Ammon just hating on him, so that's why he hates on him. Because we just listen to Ammon for whatever, blindly trust him. But apart from the whole cult comment, just like from a beneficial standpoint for the world, they are educating people on the biblical text, the ancient world, and you might think that's lame, or there's no purpose there, or that's dumb, or you're not helping anybody. Okay, cool. But guess what? People learn. It doesn't make that somehow a negative on them or a knock on them because they aren't supposedly creating purpose. Just like it's not rational to go to, oh, you're not creating purpose for anybody. Not only that, but it's a benefit. Their channels are a benefit to the scholars they have on. It helps them with their careers. So at least at the very minimum, they're helping them, scholars who are educating the world, who are furthering our knowledge about the ancient world, scholars that he relies on for these ancient texts. Ammon relies on people like Carl Ruck, who Ammon's a huge fan of and talks super highly of, even though Ammon isn't actually accepted by Carl Ruck. Carl Ruck doesn't want to associate with him, and Carl Ruck doesn't agree with half the stuff Ammon says. But at the end of the day, all of these translations, like the fact that we have the text at all, is due to these scholars that Neil and Derek are providing money for, helping them out. Not only that, but their videos give people joy, happiness from learning. There's an aspect of religious trauma. People in the group, Ammon's group, but also in Neil and Derek's group, a huge portion are atheists, that people left Christianity and they have experienced a ton of harm about hell or control, a lack of control, or just their groups that they were a part of in Christianity, treating them negatively like a cult. And everybody agrees that we should be against cults, right? So anybody should be able to say that, hey, if these people grew up in this cult environment and Neil and Derek give them a way out of feeling the sense of that they're still in that cult environment, and that's awesome. That is amazing. We should all be on board with that. But Bori wants to say, oh no, this group there's a big negative for them because nobody's making songs about them. They aren't inspiring people, which of course ignores the fact that, hey, maybe actually they are inspiring people and you just don't know about it. You don't pay attention. Obviously, you're not watching their videos. They have Neil has a Discord. Derek has and probably a Discord, but also a Facebook group where you can have a community that doesn't have these same cult dynamics. but they give people a sense of help and family and support and a desire of, hey, we're all helping each other out, learn more. That's what they're giving to these people. And Bori wants to say, oh no, you don't have any purpose. You don't give people purpose. And by the way, all this stuff that they do and other things that they benefit people from, like Neil calling out all of these people for their super dangerous pasts about harming children, about abuse, about Ammon's lying about why he was fired because of sexual harassment. That all is a benefit to the world. He is helping Ammon's group be safer because of that. And everything that they're doing is actually a benefit. It helps prevent the harm that Ammon's group is causing. Now, so of course this is something Bori's going to say because he sees Neil's the enemy. He's not really looking for legitimate actual criticism. He's not going to actually go on he's not going to go on Neil's videos and actually critique what's said. No, he's going to talk about random stuff about singing songs. So from a trustworthiness perspective, which is what my book is about. Yeah, I'll just put it on the screen a little longer. And I'm not trying to make money. What I'm saying is, if you want to learn more about this, I wrote a whole book about it. But what I am saying is that from a trustworthiness perspective, if you're going to this Bori guy for information, or even Ammon himself, if you actually care about truth, these are the type of things that are communicated that trick you into basically being brainwashed. You don't want that, obviously. Nobody wants that, okay? So let's try to avoid that, and let's actually try to, be critical and learn. Don't be like Bori. Don't just simply trust what he's saying. Don't trust what I'm saying. Actually, be willing to criticize. Try to learn. You're not going to find the truth unless you're willing to criticize. If that's your goal, if you're not trying to find truth, that's okay. Cool. Whatever. But if you're trying to find truth, that's how you do it. You have to be able to willing to criticize in order to question things, whether they're right or wrong. You can't just blindly trust somebody. Nobody's right about absolutely everything. And by the way, this person, of course, Bori, is one of the mods in the Discord. So he has a lot of authority about who he gets to kick out. The same person that is making these kind of gross songs is having the power to kick you out. So all that stuff I talked about with influencing the group, at the end of the day, it doesn't really even matter about the group, because Bori's in charge. He can control what is going on there. All right, so let's see here. So there's a couple questions or comments in the group about whether this is a cult or not. I'm using this a lot. I've done other videos. I've done a video. I'll put it in the description of what an actual cult is. But at the end of the day, what I mean by cult is a group that there is what they call coercive control, whether there is lots of othering, whether, and stereotypical is like a leader, one individual leader with special wisdom and knowledge, something that shuts off your critical thinking. There's different ways to understand what a cult is, but that's generally what I'm referring to. And people that shun outsiders, all that kind of stuff, which is all harmful dynamics. So if you want to learn more about cults, if you actually care, if anybody in this group should care if this is a cult, because it will affect you without even knowing it. If that's the truth, if it is a cult, then you really should try your best to figure that out. Even if that means watching some loser person that you hate named Zach, otherwise known as Ammon Hillman and Mask, the enemy, the insurrectionist. You should, even though you hate him, you should go out of your way to listen to someone that obviously knows a little bit about psychology, to actually learn about if this is a cult or not. Because the risk does not justify the benefit of not looking into that. So even though it might take some of your time, I know you're going to hate it, you're going to feel uncomfortable, you're going to feel icky, but at the end of the day, this is your happiness on the line. So you should probably do your effort to actually figure out if this is a cult. All right. So last comments here. We've been talking for a while. So he said, nobody's doing that for Gnostic Informant YouTube channel. Nobody's doing that for Mythvision. Their audience is disinspired. There's nothing to give them action to inspire them. Let's see here. I'm going to even... Okay, cool. So, yep. Sorry for the weird box. Gotta love AI. All right. So he's saying that the audience is disinspired. They aren't giving anything to get anyone to take action, make art, do something meaningful in this world. Okay, so we showed why that's either irrelevant or not true. But why would he say something like this? Why would this be important? Why would he say something that is so, quite frankly, odd, that obviously doesn't match with the reality as far as what is important? So he says nobody's making albums for Neil or Mythvision. So in cult psychology, members feel invisible in the outside world. They feel unimportant. Before you get into this cult, or any cult in general, the cult solves a problem, which is a lack of meaning, of identity. So when this person says nobody's doing that for Neil and nobody's doing these arts for Neil and Derek, what he's really saying is this group gives me meaning and those don't. And he's trying to use it as like a knock on them. But at the end of the day, what he's really communicating is this means so much to me, this group, and it's doing so good for the world, essentially. It's not about art. For him, it's not about art. He doesn't care about the art. He might say, yeah, I care about the art, but what he really is saying is I care about the psychological reward of what this group gives me, and that other group does not give me that. He's implying that because nobody's creating art for Derek and Neil, and because he doesn't think their audience are inspired and have a sense of purpose, whether that's true or not is a different question, and whether he's even qualified to know that is a different question, but that is somehow a bad thing, a knock on them. But the truth is that healthy communities don't need art or action or devotion to a leader to be beneficial. That's what cults do. Cults need art, action, devotion to a leader. Because in a cult, emotional stimulation is what is replacing their critical thinking involved. They aren't, he says, they aren't giving anything to get anyone to take action, make art, do something meaningful. In normal communities, viewers, they watch the content, they learn something. This is probably what you're going to do with this video. You watch the content and you learn something about psychology or cult dynamics or history. You think critically about it. You're like, is this true? Is it not? Weigh the evidence, comment, ask a question. But at the end of the day, you're in your life. It's not going to be making a big impact. On the other hand, cults, what they do is they've required that members, they must perform loyalty. It requires that things like art is made for the leader, not art specifically, but things that require devotion, sacrifice. They show they are inspired. Cults show they are inspired by having a sense of purpose. They demonstrate they are the true believers, and it gives them a sense of meaning and happiness for their life. But also, a band making an album, I think this is obvious, right? But I'm going to say it anyways. This person, I already forgot his name, Bori. This person here, he thinks that making an album about a cult leader is a sign of greatness, about inspiration, it's some kind of substance, that there is almost inherently artistic merit to doing that. But that's not really true about any of it. There's no reliable correlation between those. Somebody can make a song about some random pastor at church, but that has nothing to do with whether they're great, whether they're inspiring, whether they actually are worth following, whether the art's any good at all. What it is evidence, though, is he wants to say, hey, Neil's group is a big negative, and Ammon's group is a big positive, because of these things, like it gives substance and meaning. But but that's not exactly the case. What this actually is evidence of was what psychologists call parasocial bonding, where you get some type of relationship with the leader, whether or not you're actually talking with them. Even watching the videos, by commenting in his Discord, by talking about Ammon, by making a song about him, what that does is it gives people a feeling of relation, like, oh, I'm connected with Ammon. But most of them are never really even going to talk to Ammon. You're lucky to even get a picture with him in person. This is an evidence of leader worship. Doing a song like this is identity fusion. Your sense of identity is fused with Ammon and what that group stands for. Emotional dependency. So your emotions are dependent on that group and how you feel that standing in the group is. It's just promoting groupthink. Of course, there's a need to prove loyalty. It's like that's what this song is evidence for. It's not evidence for greatness or inspiration or substance or artistic merit. So I know I said a lot here. There is probably some confusing aspects maybe I didn't explain well. So before you even go on my channel trying to like say, hey, I'm a loser and I'm wrong, ask a question first, right? Make sure you understand what I'm saying. Even if you say, hey, you're a loser and I hate you because you said this, ask, am I understanding you correctly? And then go on to insulting me more, right? Like, at least question yourself, hey, we've talked about, hey, there's a possibility that our emotions are involved and that these cult dynamics are changing how we think and how we act. So even though it seems unlikely to you, maybe watching it, that still is good enough reason to question, hey, maybe I am, and maybe just automatically go with the flow. Maybe I should question myself sometimes. Even that will be uncomfortable for you. It'll be really, really uncomfortable for you. The idea of questioning Ammon or anybody in the group or even your purpose, because there's a lot on the line with that. But if you want truth, that's the way you have to go. And that's what I have to do. I have to be willing to consider if I messed up, which I do on these videos sometimes, lots of times. And I'm willing to correct myself. So please, if you have something substantive, show me in the comments. I want to be proved wrong. I want to be proved wrong so I can be better. That is something we should strive for. Is the desire to be proved wrong so that we can learn and grow. That should be a huge goal of ours. So I don't know what's going on in comments. Not sure if you are having fun with that. Good luck with that conversation, guys. Too much for me to keep track of, but hopefully that this has been valuable for you. And thank you so much for coming on here and listening. And let me know your comments and your thoughts in the comments. But anyways, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day and have a good one.